I bet you didn't remember there are 5 Americans in the terror dungeons under Rafah being held by the murderous thugs called Hamas. Why no mention from the president, the vice president, the secretary of state, national security advisor, and certainly not from the press? Why are we abandoning American citizens to terrorists and apparently doing nothing about it? Claire, there's something I can't figure out for the life of me. There are still 5 Americans held, we think, alive underground in the tunnels below Rafah in Gaza. Or they might very well have been transferred through the monster big tunnels you could drive a truck through into Egypt and have been transported elsewhere. We really don't know. What I don't understand, and you've got a lot of experience, State Department and high echelons of the government, why in the world is America as a country not making a big deal, either from the government's perspective or from the press that they're feeding this information to, about 5 Americans still held hostage, brutally, under horrible conditions, if they're even alive? Do we just write them off? I don't get it. I mean, we moved heaven and earth to bring back a basketball player from Russia who got busted for drugs. These are Americans who did nothing, who were captured in a brutal situation that violates the tenets of the Geneva Convention. And there's no Americans going to rescue them. There's no special forces that are going in to get them out. There's no special pressure being put on the people responsible. Can you explain why American citizens don't matter if they're held hostage by jihadis in a tunnel?
No, I cannot explain any such thing. And I think most Americans could not do that either. It's really inexplicable, and it's disgusting that our leadership, not the President Joe Biden, not the Secretary of State Antony Blinken, not the National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, none of our top leadership is saying anything about these American hostages. They won't even say their names. But you know what? I'm going to say their names right now. Hirsch Goldberg Paulin, Keith Siegel, Sagi Dekel Chen, Eden Alexander, and Omer Nutra remain, as far as we know, hostages of Hamas, as you say, Barry, probably in the tunnels underneath Rafah, which are being moved on right now by the IDF. And we can only hope that these and the other hostages, Israelis as well as other nationalities, may yet be found alive and rescued there.
Well, first of all, well done. You're doing what the New York Times, the Washington Post, the LA Times, CNN, MSNBC ought to be doing every single day. They should be running it on their lower third. These are American hostages. Bring them home. And you're the only one that wants to mention them. I find that despicable. It's an abandonment of American citizens taken by a hostile, maniacal, Nazi-like terror group. We don't care. But if you're a basketball player in Russia, oh, we'll move heaven and earth to get you back.
While leaving, we might add, other American hostages in the Russian jails, including Paul Whelan, former Marine, and at least one or two others that they don't speak of or, it seems, do anything about getting them home. Remember when President Trump was in the Oval Office, how many hostages, prisoners of foreign regimes, he was able to get released and brought home again? It was quite a number. This administration, not so much.
You know, that's a good point. Trump made a big deal about stuff like that. I don't even know if Biden, I hate to say it, I don't even know if Biden knows there are Americans being held hostage. You know, his rambling incapacity at this point to answer questions that aren't written out on a note card is getting worse by the day. And once in a while, people yell out questions to him and he has kind of a uncomfortable smile. And then he looks down and someone puts his arm around them and he's led away.
Because it wasn't on the note cards, right?
Apparently not.
Not on those note cards. He doesn't know and apparently doesn't even care.
Apparently true.